Oh, well, hello there, you beautiful, wonderful, incredible, talented, amazing human being. I am Andrea Dawn, and today we are here discussing yoga asana. Asana is the physical practice or postures of which we do when we come to our mat. And I think the really important thing to recognize is the why behind the postures, or why are we doing what we're doing? We can ask that question for all of our activities and actions throughout the day. And I think that that's one of the most important benefits of being a human, is that we get to put meaning behind things, which allows us to live more on purpose. It allows us to live on our mission when we decide what is the meaning behind something. So let's look at the first posture, Shavasana. We probably have heard of that if you've been in the yoga world a little bit. And oftentimes we think of it just simply as rest, but there's more to it than rest. So let's find out what that is. Shavasana might be the most known yoga posture, one that is sometimes even equated with yoga itself. Yet how much do we really know about it? Each posture has a Sanskrit name ending in asana. Asana means seat or posture. Shava, or the first half of Shavasana, means corpse. Another less known term for Shavasana is Mrichasana. Mrit means death. So Shavasana is a posture that represents a corpse and symbolizes death. The first written record of this posture dates all the way back to the 15th century in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. Shavasana is practiced in most practices, schools, and lineages of yoga, for it introduces the importance of attaining the skill of stillness. This brings us to the why behind Shavasana. It might be helpful to first note a few misperceptions about the posture. Shavasana is not sleep. Shavasana is not solely relaxation. However, relaxation is required to experience the state of Shavasana. So why do we do it? Why is it considered essential to our asana practice? Our asana or physical practice is required to prepare our bodies and our minds for meditation. Meditation is required to reach samadhi or liberation according to Patanjali's 8 limbs of yoga. Shavasana stimulates our parasympathetic nervous system and, physiologically speaking, slows our heart rate, our breathing, and lowers our blood pressure. All of this aids in our healing, immunity, and growth, or as I like to say, our okayness. It takes about 15 minutes to reach this state of relaxation. Shavasana takes place after we have reached this state of relaxation. This means that a proper Shavasana should be at least 20 minutes long. Judith Lassiter describes Shavasana as having 3 levels or phases. The first being physiological, the second being sense withdrawal or pratyahara, the 5th limb of yoga, and the third being a shunya, or a place that is neither here nor there, disconnected from ego, a place only understood when you come back from it. Regardless of whether you are interested in samadhi, care about pratyahara, or want to know the Sanskrit definitions, quite simply, Shavasana helps us feel better and be better. Yet, as with any other posture that requires muscle engagement, balance, and alignment of limbs, Shavasana requires practice. So while the pose might be simple, it is certainly not easy. It is only with consistent intentional practice that we will reap the rewards of this pose. Shavasana also holds symbolic, metaphoric, and meaningful significance to our own personal whys. We are all here on this magical planet Earth, sharing this crazy roller coaster of experiencing ourselves as a human being. We know that this experience is limited and absolutely has an expiration date, regardless of our own personal beliefs on what happens after our physical bodies expire. Shavasana is an epic reminder that we are going to die. That is a helpful reminder in how it is we want to live, on what we decide and what we make important, and on how we will spend our ever fleeting now moments. Each day we are one day closer to death. Each Shavasana is one Shavasana closer to our expiration. Let us not dwell on death in sadness, but dwell in its remembrance of the life that we get to live today. And so that's my favorite part of Shavasana, is that remembrance, the not avoiding that I'm going to die, that this life here is not permanent. And that can feel sad. That might even feel disturbing to some people. And I think especially in our Western society, we avoid it. We don't talk about it. We don't think about it. But it can be a really, really helpful thing to remember every single day. When we get in routines, when we stop noticing details, when life becomes humdrum, the same old, we're not remembering that we might not be here tomorrow. And that remembering makes things come alive. It makes colors more bright. It makes smells more poignant. It makes sights more vibrant. Right? It makes conversations more meaningful. It makes interactions have depth. It makes us decide what to do with our time. And it also is really helpful in allowing ourselves to release what is taking up time and space that's not actually important or helpful. So much of our day and our time can be spent on this dialogue or this narration that goes on in our minds that is often just kind of stuck on replay. Or our minds like to fixate on what's wrong instead of what's right. And those all feel like things that dampen our day or are actually death. And so it's like we're alive, but we're living the death part of it. So how can we live the alive part of it? So right now I'll demo Shavasana, which most of us probably have practiced, and know that there are many, many ways to support and prop this posture. But generally speaking, you lie down onto your back. Your legs are about mat's width distance, feet splayed out to the sides, arms 6 inches off the sides of the body, palms face up. Now, ways to prop this might be by placing pillows or bolsters underneath the knees to support the low back. Pillows, props, or bolsters underneath the head and the neck so that the chin comes slightly above the forehead. You could also, if this is still hard on your low back, bend the knees, step the feet a little wider, and knock the knees together. You could place a chair and rest your feet and your lower legs on that chair. Also know that this kind of position where we're very open might feel vulnerable for some people. So for some people, Shavasana might be taken curled up onto the side, or in Makarasana, in crocodile position on our bellies. We can do all kinds of different things with our hands, right? And so we want to just make sure that there's permission for you to place yourself in any position that gives you the opportunity and the best chance at surrender. I hope this was helpful in understanding Shavasana, and I'm so grateful for you for being here and for exploring all of these yoga postures together. My heart sees and feels and smiles to yours. Namaste, yogis.